Hello, my name's Hamp Ingram, and I'm a life member at Field L. Collinsville Volunteer Rescue Squad. Been in the squad for a little over 20 years, and the things I've learned I want to pass on to you, the new member. Today we're going to talk about EMS operations. Not just the operation itself, but how to prepare for it, how to handle the operation when you're there, and how to clean up, take care of things once we're done. Now, it's important to know how to take care of your vehicle. It's not just about checking off the supplies and making sure the equipment works. A dead engine on an ambulance is bad. That's pretty simply stated. It's really simple to check off the engine components, and you don't have to look at the whole thing. Now, I know this is a big diesel engine, and we have a Ford chassis on this ambulance. Your chassis may be different. You may be running a Chevrolet or a Dodge, but the things you need to check are the same. You need to check the power steering. You need to check, let's see, this is a radiator fluid. Of course, you need to check the oil, transmission fluid, engine oil, check the battery posts, make sure they're clean. Look over the belts, look over the hoses, and make sure you don't see any cracks or wear. If you do, you need to make sure that you get in touch with your vehicle officer and say, I think we've got a problem. Don't worry if you don't know how to do this initially. Find someone at your station or at your agency that does, and they'll be able to help you. Always look for help if you don't know what to do. Now, one of the important things you need to remember is knowing where all your equipment and supplies are located. Now, I'm in a Field L. Collinsville truck, and we have our things set up a little differently than a lot of the other rescue squads, but generally, your airway equipment, oxygen masks, nasal cannulas, airways, things like that, will be up here in the corner. You may have your first aid supplies over here, IV supplies over here, but what you need to remember is find a member at your station or your agency and make sure you know where specific equipment is. Now, as a new member, will you be able to use all this equipment? No, not really, but it's important to know where it's located. So if you're on the scene of a call and the attendant in charge says, I need this, you know exactly where to go to find the piece of equipment they need. It could be on the inside of the truck or on the outside of the truck. Make sure you know where all your equipment's located.
Now, there will be some equipment that you can use, but you just may not know how to operate it. Find a senior member, someone who's been around for a while and knows how to operate that equipment, and get them to demonstrate its operation for you. They may even want to use the equipment on you. Straps, adjustments, handles, anything that needs to be used, they can show you the proper operation. You just have to trust them, though. Sometimes we have pranksters in the rescue squad.
Now, some ambulances come featured with what we call a power stretcher or power lift stretcher. The only difference between these stretchers and a regular stretcher is that a lot of times it takes just one person to load. You want to make sure you have someone else to help you just in case, but most of the time you can do it by yourself. Now, the same stance applies. You'll make sure that you get your feet apart. Make sure you've got your balance right. Hit a button. That's all you have to do.
After you pull the stretcher out, make sure that the stretcher catches the tail hook so you don't risk dumping the patient out in the street. After you get the stretcher out, make sure that you also lock the wheels. That's very important so the stretcher doesn't roll. Now we're going to take a look at the regular lights. The headlights, turn signals, brake lights, things like that. Test your high beams on your headlights. Make sure your turn signals work, not only on the front of the truck, but if you have them mounted on the cab, make sure they work as well. Also, look at your side lights, your scene lights. Make sure those work. As you walk around again, make sure that none of the lenses are broken. When you get around to the rear, you need someone in the truck to do this, but check your brake lights. Check your turn signals again on the back. And one more thing you're probably going to want to have to do is make sure that you check your reverse lights. Also, make sure that the person who's checking your reverse lights is a good friend and doesn't run over you. Now, as you walk around and checking out the outside of your truck, make sure the flashing headlights work, the grill lights, Take a look at the fender lights, the lights on the front of the cab. Also, look at your side lights. Make sure there's no scratches, none of the lenses are broken. Make sure everything works. Do the same with the back, because there's a lot of lights on the back. People want to see you. And then as you go around, continue the same thing on the side. Now, let's do a walk around. Checking the body, checking the tires. That's very important. Looking for tire wear. Check the compartment doors. Make sure that they open and close properly. Make sure there's equipment on the inside of the compartments that needs to be there. Take a look for scratches, dents, because that's signs of a sick truck. Check the back tires. And of course, on most ambulances, you have dual axles. So make sure you check all 4 rear tires. Again, check compartment doors. Make sure everything's right. Make sure you have backboards, KED boards, short backboards. And yes, we've already looked inside the truck, but just take a look and see, does that look right? Probably need to move that pillow and straighten up that vest. Walk around to the other side. You may have splints, a stair chair. Again, check those back tires. Then check oxygen levels in the portable oxygen bag, in the spare oxygen bottles, and make sure you check your onboard oxygen to make sure you have enough oxygen. If you don't know how, again, ask a member how you're supposed to do it. Now, let's take a look at the inside of the truck.
So, you're ready to run a call. What are some things you should do once you get in the truck? Well, more than anything, you need to pay attention to your driver and your attendant in charge, also known as the AIC. AIC a lot of times will ride up front with the driver, and they make sure they know how to get to a call. Always remember, when the dispatch comes out, make sure you know the address you're responding to before you pull out of the station. Let's see. Check everything out. Oh yeah, always wear your seat belts, front or in the rear. Okay, I think we're ready to respond. See you there.
Now, while a lot of the equipment inside the cab may seem somewhat imposing, don't sweat it. I mean, you have the light switches and the siren and the radio, but hopefully your driver is good enough where he can handle that stuff while he's responding to the call. If he does ask for help, he'll show you what you need to do.
Now, you're on the scene of a call. This time we're on a street or highway. When you get out, make sure you have your jump bag or your equipment bag, first aid bag, whatever you call it. And one really important thing is this. It's a safety issue. This is a safety desk, and you want to make sure you have it on so people can see you day or night. If they can't see you, you're at high risk for getting run over. Well, I hope you've learned a little bit on this brief intro to EMS Operations. I know it's a lot of information that you need to soak in, but with good members, a little bit of help, and the right questions, you'll have plenty of time to learn what it's about to be a member of your volunteer rescue squad. If you have any questions, you can talk to your rescue squad members, your line officers, or you can call the Department of Public Safety at 634-4660.